Charles here locally in the community. Make sure y'all go check out New Cat Body by Jeremy Smokin.
Good morning and welcome to Lions Talk with Smokin Jeremy B. That's right, I'm your host. I'm here solo once again. Leonard can't be here because he's got a good interview going. For a job. So I'm here. Let's talk about it. Ben Johnson's staying, and I put a post out and people are reading into it way too much on what I meant. When I said I was ready to move on, I meant if Ben Johnson took a head coaching job, I was ready to move on to our next offensive coordinator. Not that I'm ready to fire Ben Johnson, but at the same time, the third quarter woes have continued for 2 consecutive seasons under his play calling. And that's an issue that has to get resolved. He cannot fail to adjust at halftime. Um, I don't know what it is. We go away from what's working in the first half. The teams key in on the passing game, and we can't get anything done in the third quarter. It's been 3 touchdowns and 2 field goals over 2 seasons, and it's absolutely atrocious. And it's 100% why we lose games right now with a top 3 offense. And at one point, we had one of the best running defenses, and we had one of the best running defenses all through the playoffs, regardless of what you guys think. And the defense got better once Aaron Glenn wasn't doing the game planning and Dan Campbell put his hands on the defense. So I don't care what anybody says. I pray someone hires AG and we have to find somebody. My consult went okay at the dentist. I'm not happy with what came up. I'm just giving it from my point perspective and where I was at with how things went down, especially in that NFC championship game. You cannot have turnovers. Yeah, and I love the fact that he wants to be here and finish the business. I just want him to be better at it, Paul Jones. For 3 quarters, we're great. 1 quarter, we disappear, and we can't have it disappear right after the half every time. That's my only gripe with Ben Johnson. And people say, well, it's the player. No, the play calling changes. We've said it all year long. Good morning, Dad. I found out that in order to remove all the teeth to get the dentures I want, it requires oral surgery for all of them. So it's way more expensive than I anticipated. And it's going to cost me quite a bit. I don't get it. I'm a Lions fan for life too. That will not change. And I won't change my opinions because it doesn't fit everybody else's narrative. So that's where I'm at. I never said to fire Ben Johnson. I just said I was ready to move on. And I meant because he moved forward in his coaching um, career. I'll figure it out. Oh, the dentures aren't bad at all. That's $3,200. That's for permanent dentures after the 6 months of healing, with temporary ones right after the surgery. But it's $12,000 for the surgery, basically. I asked 10 years ago to have them removed when all this first started. The very first one chipped. I was like, get them all out because it would have saved me a lot of money and more money in the long run. Then the heart attack happened. Then they started breaking at a breakneck pace and falling out. So that is what it is. That's my personal life. Let's get back to Lions talk. Lions re-signed almost the entire practice squad. I love it. Mitchell Goody, Maurice Alexander, Matt Farniak, Jake Funk, Connor Galvin, Craig James, Brandon Joseph, Michael Neese, and Chris Smith. The two that we re-signed, I swear, if a nuclear bomb dropped on Detroit, these two would survive somehow. Tom Kennedy and Jameer Jefferson. How those guys would survive like cockroaches and Twinkies. I swear. They're going to be here forever. Tom Kennedy, shorter than me and weighs less. I can't see him playing linebacker. Oh, I like being funny. I like doing funny takes, guys. Don't get me wrong. I'm serious about the team, though, or I wouldn't be writing about them for the South Florida Tribune, which the Motor City Tribune is owned by. It's published out of Florida, but it is the Motor City Tribune. Um, I love the fact we kept Brendan Joseph, Kennedy, and Twinkies. I think Tom Kennedy's survived 3 coaching regimes now, if you think about it. He's the only player left from the Caldwell regime. Good morning, Facebook user. Right above the video, there should be a link to click to allow you to use your name and uh, likeness. I knew it would ruffle feathers when I said what I said because people would take it out of context. I was just ready to move on. That's it. Not ready to fire him. I was ready for if he took a job and furthered his career. Montgomery is actually under contract for 2 more years, Daniel Callahan, so they're keeping him. Um, the only thing I seen that looks like we're hiring we are going to work on re-signing Graham Glasgow, and we're not re-signing Jonah Jackson, which is something I said halfway through the season. Because we signed David Montgomery to a 3-year, $6 million a year deal. So unless he holds out for more money, he's here. I'd give Vrabel a look, but you know what? Let's look at the guy, and you guys can say what you want. It's the Phillip guy out of Iowa. That guy has a defense that does not quit and wins that team games. He's aggressive. He runs a nice 4-3 hybrid system, which is a 4-man front. We actually have the guys here for a 4-man front. And we have the linebackers for the 4-man front because we almost have enough for a 3-4. So it would make more sense to stick with the 4-man front and go with somebody that's a 4-3 hybrid. Um, that Tampa 2 man zone thing. Guys, I will not bring back. If I was the guy that making the decisions, the guys I wouldn't bring back. Top 2 off the top is Jonah Jackson and CJGJ and Mosley. Those 3 I'm not bringing back. Mosley was supposed, we all gripe about Sutton, but Sutton was supposed to be our CB2. Emmanuel Mosley, when he was healthy prior to the first ACL, was a number 1 corner in the league, top 5, up there with Jalen Ramsey and Janoris Jenkins and a couple others that were playing well at that time. So, Vrabel, There's Riverboat Ron out there still. Could they get the brain trust that is the defensive guru, Bill Belichick, to come here, seeing as how he has his very first job was special teams assistant here with the Lions. Um, our safety is the most improved part of our secondary. We need corners. I'm not as worried about our safeties. And Sutton did. If you look when he played against the second tier wide receiver ones to begin the season, he did fine. It was once he went up against guys like Justin Jefferson, Mike Evans, um, and so on and so forth. Puka Nakua. That's an elite wide receiver one. You say he's a slot receiver anywhere else because of his size. That guy's a wide receiver one. He struggled with DK Metcalf. So tell me what's on your mind this morning. I mean, I'm glad he's here. I'm glad he wants to be here. Don't get me twisted, okay? Ben Johnson. I'm glad he's here, but I was ready mentally to move on. Does that make sense? Our safeties, you remove CJGJ. Tracy Walker, when he first came back, when CJGJ went down, that secondary played better. Say what you want about CJGJ. He's all mouth and he didn't back it up in the NFC Championship game. He jawed with Debo ever since last year's NFC Championship game, gave him crap and looked like crap against them. So, as far as I'm concerned, he needs to shut the hell up and move on. Um, that being said, um, Emmanuel Mosley, I'm not resigning because he can't stay healthy. I've had it with injured players that ride the pine and get half their money. Uh, Jonah Jackson, he's now an all pro and a pro bowler. He's going to require a lot of money, and I don't think his health issues makes it worth it. He'll get more in free agency, in my opinion. Because for me, because of his health, I wouldn't pay him more than X amount of dollars, which is around 9 mil, an average starting NFL guard. And he probably deserves more than that because of his accomplishments. But we know how paying people for their past accomplishments work. I would like us to look at like Adoree Jackson, who's been relatively healthy, plays well for New York, but the supporting cast around him doesn't help him. And until Kayvon Thibodeau had Carl Banks call him out on a podcast after week 4, he was disappeared in that defense. And then he goes, "Oh, I'm a bust," and he starts playing. There's a big difference there. Uh, in the draft, my second round pick, 100%. It's an early third round pick. But seeing how we pick so late, early third round, late second round, there isn't much difference in the quality of player you get. I like Tavondre Sweat, defensive tackle out of Texas. The guy's a mammoth of a man and collapses the pocket. You pair him with McNeil and then or Martin when he comes in rotation because I have a feeling Martin will be more involved in the defense next year. I don't know why they didn't trust him. Uh, Josh Allen may not be a free agent, so because they can still franchise tag him. So pump your brakes until we see what happens after the franchise tag period, which I think ends a week before the March 13th free agency period. So I'm pumping my brakes on Josh Allen, Brian Burns, Daniil Hunter. I have the feeling he's going to want a bag bigger than Montez Sweat because he technically had a better season than Montez Sweat, especially when they focused that defense around Daniil Hunter with Minnesota. He had a great season despite the record of the team. Um, That's somebody I would target over the other 2. Even though he's older, he's great. And if we'd have had the cap run room to made the trade, it wasn't Montez Sweat that Brad Holmes asked the Commanders about people, it was Chase Young, and we saw how good he played. It wasn't that good last week, and he didn't play that good for him all season, and they're looking at letting him go and benching him for the Super Bowl. So, that being said, I'm glad we didn't make that trade. And the way Josh Reynolds played throughout the season, where he was clutch, he was Mr. First Down Touchdown, to disappear like he did in the championship game and have those critical drops at critical times, which is so uncharacteristic. Um, it puts a bad taste in my mouth. I kind of don't want him back. I understand he was with Jared Goff in the beginning and blah blah blah, and he's the same age and he's going to be 29 years old just like Goff. 29, 30 is right when that decline starts, and we've seen it start to happen at the end of the season now. So I think I would roll with DPJ. Chemistry over hype. Chef Brad. Exactly. Um, I'm proud of our team. I'm proud of the season we had. We played 20 games in one season. If you go back to a 16 game season, you know what we just did? That was our Super Bowl. But it's not a 16 game season, it's a 17. So it leaves a bitter taste in our mouth because we all could taste it as fans. We wanted this Super Bowl so bad. And we're still bitter about it. People are still griping about it. And people say they're tired of hearing excuses. Um, you know what? Kick rocks. That's what we got to talk about here is what happened, why it happened. Give the reason statistically why it happened. Why did Dan Campbell go for 2 plus yard fourth and threes instead of kicking a field goal? Because Badgley absolutely sucks outdoors unless he's in Denver. Everybody forgets that half of Badgley's stats came from the year he was in Denver, where the air travels straighter and further through the thin air. So he had some longs that are way beyond whatever he did anywhere else except at Detroit because he was in a dome and the air didn't affect him. Humidity affected the flight of the ball then. There's a reason why it, for one half, it didn't look like they were playing outside at all. It looked like they were playing at Ford Field. Why? Yeah, if we draft a kicker, there's 2 guys I want. Josh Carty, Kansas State, and Harold Mevis out of Missouri. Harold Mevis himself, I've been high on that guy for 3 years now. He's kicked a 61-yarder. He's kicked his team to wins because Missouri's offense has been so bad. I wouldn't be upset if they resigned Badger, but even in retrospect, I'd still go for it instead of kick. Absolutely, Paul Jones. Those 2 fourth down drops by Josh Reynolds are unforgivable in my eyes. And Goff can say, "Oh, he's did this and did this throughout the season." I don't care. I was ready to move forward to a new era of Lions football. That's all I can say. I won't go any further into it. That's what I'm saying. Because these brand new Lions have really, really done great. And yes, the NFL now stands for New Fucking Lions. Don't like it? Kick rocks. Home of the bad takes here. Because somebody's going to disagree with me, even in our fan base. And you know what? I don't care. Um, because I mean, I love you fans, and I respect your opinions, and I don't mind when you give me a debate back. It's fun. But Brad and Dan has talked about chemistry over anything for 2 straight years. Um, let's look at why the Jaguars didn't hire Aiden Hutchinson because his arms were an inch too short. Who had the better season, Trayvon Walker or Aiden Hutchinson in their second year? I'm not even talking rookie year. Rookie year, I know it was Aiden Hutchinson. I love it. New fucking Lions. That's great. People keep saying brand new Lions. I like new fucking Lions. Uh, yes, 100%. It was Hutch. And had we had anybody on the other side of him throughout the season that could have applied pressure from the other DN, there'd have been less double teams on Hutch. With his with as high as his pressure rate was this year, he turned it on after Dan Campbell grabbed hold of this defense. Detroit Daniel opinions are like taking a shit. They all stink. Some are better, and others let's fucking go. New fucking Lions, NFL. Love it, Detroit Daniel. A gun guy, if you want to be a winner, you have to hate losing more than you love winning. Absolutely. Um, I have 6 games I absolutely loathe. And I know that all 6 of those teams probably had offensive players that voted Aaron Glenn as the most liked defensive coordinator in the league for that fake award they did about 4 weeks ago. Hey, you're absolutely right, Paul Jones. San Francisco is about to bench Chase Young. Half our weird face wanted us to trade a first rounder for him. I know. I saw it. I was out on that trade. And when you look at the cap and the fact that Marvin Jones just walked away from the game, he never filed his retirement paperwork, which meant his 3 million still counted against the cap. Everybody's saying, "Oh, we're going to have this after he files his paperwork." He never filed the paperwork. So it's still costing us 1.5 million in dead cap next year because he's not playing another down in the NFL. Because if he files the paperwork, he has to repay his signing bonus. That's written in the CBA. That has nothing to do with any team or anything else. It's written in the CBA. If the team, if he doesn't repay his signing bonus, the team gets hit with it in dead cap. That's been there since 2008, people. It's not a new rule. And it took a long time and an NFL meeting with Calvin Johnson before he understood that. Which happened after he got into the Hall of Fame. And all of a sudden, he was on board with helping everybody in the Lions. Why? Because then, as that special advisor to the team and talking to the team periodically throughout the season, he doesn't have to repay. They might have gifted him that with the situation he's going through. You're absolutely right, Fred. But at the same time, it's why we didn't have cap room when everybody thought we were gonna. Um, He didn't lose another child this year. The loss of his child was in 2019, the last season he was with us. Fred, that was cleared up. It was just left at family issues. That's all it was said. And I do understand that loss. I know exactly what he went through in 2019, and I applauded it on how he stayed with the team and played throughout that year, if you remember. He did not lose another child this year, guys. That was cleared up within a week. Adam Schefter said, "I apologize. My post look was wrong." He posts a lot of wrong stuff and gets a lot of things twisted lately, and it's hurt his credibility very much. So when Adam Schefter posts something, I wait for Ian Rappaport or Tom Pellisario to back it up because I don't know if it's real. Um, but I'm so proud of this team. It Fred, there's a statue in Chicago, downtown, and it shows like the frame of a man, and from inside the shoulders all the way to his groin, everything here is missing. That's about 1/10 of what it feels like. You're empty. It's a void you can't fill. No parent should ever have to bury their child, and my heart goes out to everyone who does. And again, nowhere was I saying that Ben Johnson should have been fired. I want that cleared up right now. I'm just saying, as if he'd have moved on as a head coach somewhere else, I was fully mentally prepared to move on. I actually expected it, and I was good with it. So we got the 49ers versus Swifties next week. How over under 18 times they say Taylor Swift during the broadcast. Which way you going? That's what the line is in Vegas on the stupid prop bet. It's 18 times. Yeah, Paul Jones, I thought he was leaving, so I mentally was checked out. I was ready for it. Detroit Daniel, appreciate you, Jeremy. Love the show. Over 18. Yeah. Uh I do have a lot of fun with that. Lions will be back. I have faith in the rookies, get some studs on defense and keep the O line. And that's great. I like I said, I'm happy he wants to finish what he started here. I am happy he wants that. I am happy with how much his wife and him say they love Detroit. I'm saying the thing he needs to work on the most is his third quarter adjustment. I'm going to be starting doing some college scouting, getting into more people. Anybody that wants a scouting profile on somebody, if they win by what that damn crappy singer says, I'll no longer watch football. Jimmy DeFoyle said. Uh, so, is there any players that you guys would like me to do like a draft profile on? Put it in the chat if you want me to check them out. Uh, the one guy you don't have to tell me is Harold Mevis or Josh Carte, the kickers out of Kansas State or Missouri. Um, both are over 90% at anything under 48 yards, and they're over 65% anything over 50. That's better than anything we've had in the last 3 seasons. I'd take either one of them anywhere from the fifth through seventh round. When San Francisco wins the Super Bowl, can Taylor Swift sing "It Was All a Dream"? You know what I'd like her to sing? I threw a flag on the play, the AI song the guy created about her and Travis Kelce, because that'll probably be their breakup. Uh, man, it's, it's a lot of fun here. It's been a lot of fun talking Detroit football over the past 2 years. It's going to be a lot more fun going forward. I cannot wait for free agency to start. This is the lull we didn't want. We didn't want it to be over the week before the Super Bowl because now all we get is conjecture and coaching changes. Arthur Smith is hired by the Pittsburgh Steelers as their offensive coordinator. So much for the development of Kenny Pickett. That career is going in the toilet. Uh, that run game might disappear too. Remember, he had Behan Robinson and Tyson Algier, and they did both disappeared in that with that team. Dave Canales is now their head coach. No, the Panthers head coach to work with Bryce Young, who seemed to have resurrected Baker Mayfield's career. AG's got an interview. He interviewed yesterday with Washington, tomorrow with the Seahawks. Yeah, I can't believe Smith got hired either. Hey, but it's an upgrade for Matt Canada, who uses Matt Nagy's Tech Mobile playbook. So Scott Young. I watch football because I love football and not to see or hear about Taylor Swift. As I don't even like to hear about her when I'm not watching football. Let's go Lions. Canada was a pretty low bar, LOL. Detroit Daniel. I like Zion Tupula Fatui, D end out of Washington. Dude's a high motor playmaker. Uh, the only song I like is the AI song about what's going to be the Travis Kelsey Taylor Swift breakup song. I think it's hilarious. It's a reel on TikTok and Instagram. It's called "Dare I Ruined It." Go check that out. That's the name of the channel is "There I Ruined It." He has some good stuff using AI. Right now, he had that popular Singapore band that's been everywhere singing "Smells Like Teen Spirit," and it was hilarious. Had Bing Crosby doing "Down with the Sickness." The player that I would love for us to be able to get, and I want him to fall to 29 so bad just because the name would be so perfect for Detroit. It's Kool-Aid fucking McKinstry. Come on. If there wasn't a name that was made to be a Detroit Lion, it's Kool-Aid McKinstry. Yeah, I got to get better glasses. Well, I'm going to get ready. It'll be called No More Tight End. Actually, Bertana, you won't get Kool-Aid before us. I like the kid playing from the other side of Kool-Aid too. He's actually pretty good. Yeah, and he's slated to be a day 2 pick. That wouldn't be bad either. Hey, Bertana, but you never know. Goody might let us trade up with you again so we can take Kool-Aid from you, like we did Brian Branch. Uh, Let me see. I just saw it earlier. There was a list of the free agents coming up for cornerbacks. It wasn't in that chat. Which one was it? Might have been this one. All right. Cornerbacks that are free agents. Adoree Jackson out of New York Jets, Kendall Fuller from Washington, Stephon Gilmore, Dallas, Michael Davis, LA Chargers. Jeff Okudah's going to be. Jeff Okudah's a free agent again. Yeah, we don't need him. Kenny Moore from Indianapolis, Chidobe Awuzie. That's one that I like. CJ Henderson, eh. Jordan Lewis, good slot guy, but we got slot guys already. Steven Nelson, we had Levi Wallace, Keelson Nixon, Rock Sin. I like him, and he did a lot for the Panthers and then also for Baltimore this year. He's uh, slated to be a free agent. Jalen Mills from New England. Yeah, Jalen, he's not on the list because he's a restricted free agent. These are unrestricted free agents. Fred Peterson, Okuda. I'd rather let the receiver run wide open and hope they don't catch the ball. It was a joke when I said it. Sean Bunting, Shaquille Griffin, Noah Igbunahane, Miles Bryant, Kawan Williams, Trey Hearn. The list gets worse down there. The first one is the from top to bottom. Adoree Jackson. He's kind of like Chidobe Awuzie out of Cincinnati. Those two right there are kind of like my top 1 and 2 targets. Um, oh, you're talking about Kenny Clark? Hey, you're right, Britannia. We got Branch. You got Reed. Sounds like everyone is happy. Yep, and I know Matabuke might be a free agent with Baltimore, but I think he gets tagged because they don't have a lot of money to do a big signing. Mm. Fred Peterson. There for a while, there was 4 weeks last season where Akuda was ranked in the top 15 at corners. So the guy can cover, he just can't play zone. He's absolute straight booty cheeks in zone. Square pegs, round holes. That's why he wasn't a fit here. Which was weird because he outplayed. Yep, there was more teams in the red cap wise than I ever recall seeing before this year, and there's going to be more next year because a lot of teams have kicked the can down the road. That's the good thing about us. The only dead cap we have hitting at the start of the season is 1.5 million between Marvin Jones Jr. and Isaiah Buggs. Everybody forgets we signed Buggs for another year before we waived him and he got signed somewhere else, which is why we get a dead cap hit this year coming up. It hurts because now he's playing for a Super Bowl team. Well, guys, I'm going to have to pay the bills now. My favorite sponsor is the one you all know. It's FTP. It's not the florist. Put it in the chat. Fuck the Packers. You're absolutely right. And my other sponsor is Gloss Negron, the best window tinner in Saginaw and the Tri Cities. 989-443-9240. Go message him, call him, let him know if you want to see some more of his work than just the two pieces I have here on display. Give him a call or follow him on Instagram, Snapchat, or Facebook. Does excellent work. He also does auto detailing. So if you need to get your whip cleaned out, he's the guy to do it. If you want to get it tinted, he makes it look 100%. That was a full tint and detail right there. And that guy paid a pretty penny. Yep. They are in the best shape cap wise. At 58.6 million is the exact number, is what it breaks down. 58 million point 618 536 dollars. Brent, you made it in. So don't forget, 18 million comes off the top. That is the rookie salary cap number that is not negotiable for your draft picks. So even though it says 58.6, it's actually 40.6. Um, Getting rid of Big V will clear some of that. Getting rid of Romeo Aquara, he is not a free agent as slated. He is on the books because it was a restructure that it took all that extra cap room and turned it into salary this year with no dead cap. So they can actually cut him and they'll almost save 20 million more. So they can get it right back to where they're at real quick, around that 58 to 60 million. We only have 58.6 million. That's according to over the cap after dead cap penalties. 58,618,386. It's not 60 million. 18 million comes off the top for the rookies, so it's 40.6 million is what we got for free agents. That's it? Can I just get the taxes? Amen, Fred Peterson. The taxes are 10 times my salary on the first million. 90 million is in 2025 because we have a crap load coming off the roster in 2025. Matter of fact, I'll look it up right now for you. In 2025, we have $100.862 million in free money. So the cap number for the 2024-2025 season is 32.3 million for Goff. Mm, I'm not ready to give Goff a bag yet. I like him where he's sitting. I'm trying to see where we save money. Romeo Aquara, every penny. Big V, every penny. So that's 7 million that we saved right there. So it's not as much as I thought for those restructures, but they can be cut at no cost. Yeah, we're not getting him. He wants to be the top paid CB in the league. There's really no one that saves us money. Well, he won't restructure. Goff wants to get paid. The agent won't let him restructure. So, in all actuality, we have 38 contracted players, 53 fills out a roster, right? We actually got the perfect amount of cap room to fill the team. We really do. Jalen Johnson is who you're thinking of the Bears. And because part of Teddy Bridgewater's contract was a futures contract, Scott Young, listening to your show daily is the best thing I've discovered, as it's the only football related thing to do until next season starts up again. I'm hosting a Super Bowl non-watch party. That's awesome. But I'm going to tell everybody right now the same thing I tell you every day. Try every day to be a better person than you were the day before, because that's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts within here. This has been Lions Talk with Smokin' Jeremy B. I will be joined by Leonard. I'm hoping he had a great job interview today. That's why he was not able to be here today. Yesterday it was insurance meetings. So it is what it is. Today I wasn't almost able to make it, but I made it home in time to come here and talk and shoot the lion shit with everybody. But we'll go over the cap numbers in detail over the next couple of years. But we only got 15 spots to fill. 7 of those will be rookie. He's getting the lead banjo position. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Make sure you stay on and watch Russell Wayne with Football Talk with Russell Wayne and Main Event Mike. They do a good show here on Thursdays. Or it's Wednesday. Good Lord, I'm losing track of my days. It's Wednesday. I'll be here tomorrow, 10 a.m., to start your day off with more Lions news and opinions. Have a great day, everybody.